Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my F1 Manager 2022 career mode with Aston Martin. If you missed episode 1, make sure to go and check that one out. Really, really good episode. We made quite a few changes. We got rid of Lance Stroll from the team. We brought in Nico Hulkenberg. We also got rid of our technical chief and brought in T Chung, because our technical chief was 69 rated. Obviously, he was better than Ian Gregg. I was tempted to get rid of Ian Gregg straight away as well, but he has quite a long time left on his contract. So he's got 4 years left. So we kept him in just because of the cost to actually pay off his contract was so high just to do at the beginning. Thankfully, our race engineers are pretty good, and now that our technical chief is better, hopefully we can start to make some improvements. The plan of action with this season is to go ahead and basically just upgrade in terms of top end speed. I'm going to focus on top end speed. I'm going to put all my money into Seb Vettel. Hopefully he can deliver. And I'm kind of going to use Hulkenberg as a blocker and as a help to drive Vettel up the grid. Now, I'm not expecting to compete for points consistently with this Aston Martin team. It's very much competing with Williams at the moment. So my hope is I'll design it to be really good at a couple of tracks later in the season, get those points on the board, and maybe beat a couple of teams by the end. So that's the aim long term. But for today, let's just check if what we've got in development at the moment. So we've got a rear wing currently in the design phase and side pods in the design phase. And as I said, mostly focused on drag reduction so we can improve our straight line speed. Going to make it a straight line monster, hopefully by the time we get into the races later in the season like Monza. So let's see. I don't think we do anything at the moment in terms of manufacturing. So we are pretty much set to go. Just check the calendar. We are indeed all set. So we're going to be heading into Jeddah this weekend. And let's set our... So Jeddah. Again, this is one that we could use the straight line speed for, really. Those massive DRS zones, it would come in really handy, but of course it's too early in the season for us to have made any real changes in terms of performance to the car. I absolutely do not expect to reach Q2 or Q3, though I am going to try something with Hulkenberg to see if, essentially, we can just ruin other people's day. It'll be interesting. I'm going to send out... You'll see what I'm going to do, but I'm going to essentially send out Vettel on his own to set a decent lap time, hopefully without any traffic. And I'm going to use Hulkenberg just to get in the way of other people setting their lap time. And maybe we can then... I don't expect we'll get out of Q1, but we might be there, around 15th or 16th on the grid. So let's see if we can do that, because otherwise we are going to be down there in 19th or 17th best, I reckon. So let's see what we can do. So I'm not going to guarantee anything here. All we do is risk losing money. The car simply isn't good enough at this stage to be making any promises. So let's get straight into the race weekend. Right, so let's get into the practice. What we're going to aim for then is, again, car parts knowledge, as you can see, is down 83%, so we still need to build that up. Hopefully we can get that close to 100% by the end of this session. It started at 50% at the beginning of the season, so we should be able to get that to 100% by the end of this round of practice sessions. We'll aim to get the setup confidence up to 100% as well, and we'll aim to get track acclimatization towards 100%, if not on 100%. Let's have a look at the car setup. So in terms of this track, you can see it's a balanced circuit, but of course we know it's got those long straights. So I am going to set the car up to be quicker in a straight line, run a bit of a lean wing, just see how they get on with the car in that sort of setup. Traction's got to be decent, but we do need good cornering. Let's see what we can do. There we go. That's better. And then improve the stability there. So we've got decent cornering, decent traction, decent in a straight line. Hopefully that sort of setup will bode well. Let's do the same thing with here with Hulkenberg. Now he's actually too fast on the straights according to that, so let's bring that in a bit. The traction for me is too low. We're going to bring the traction up there. I quite like the cornering to be better. There we go. Let's see. Let's just give that a go. We'll see. They'll probably say that they hate the setup, but we'll see how we get on. So what we're going to do, we'll be back in just a second with the results of how practice has gone, and we'll find out what we're going to be looking like heading into qualifying. So here we go then, and just like magic, we've done the track acclimatization 100%, the car parts knowledge is 100%. We've actually managed to get 100% setup confidence for Sebastian Vettel as well. Only 91% for Nico Hülkenberg, but that's still pretty good. Still a great setup for him, not quite optimal. And it looks like we've got decent weather for the rest of the weekend as well. So based on the sort of practice times, we are looking at splitting the Williams or maybe beating the Williams, but everyone else seemed to be significantly ahead, so it's going to come down to sort of more race pace and what strategy we can come up with. Obviously going to be running on the soft compound, so no need to change anything here, and we can pretty much use any tires, as many soft tires as we like in qualifying, because we're probably not getting out of Q1. So let's go ahead then and start the qualifying session. What are we going to do then? So let's
radio check.
Send out.
Okay, 1, 2, loud and clear.
Okay, it's green now.
Need to press that. Alright, Hülkenberg's gone. Send Vettel after. We'll get one first lap in. See how they get on. Again, our aim is to beat the Williams. That is all we can aim for at the beginning of the season. So that is what we're going to go for. We see Hülkenberg significantly off of Perez. Vettel, good three tenths ahead of Hülkenberg. And you can see Leclerc and Alonso clearly. Anyone below us at this stage had issues. But we are ahead of Alex Albon with Sebastian Vettel at least. Right, we're going to switch over to the soft tire there. Just slow the time down for a second. Put a fresh set of softs on. I think Hülkenberg could have been caught up. I think we've got time to send them out twice more. So I'm going to send Vettel out now. Send Hülkenberg out as well. I think we held up Norris there. Let's see what time we can do here. Everyone's on a lap, so we shouldn't get caught up. We go straight past Norris. It's not bad. So we've actually got Vettel ahead of Bottas at this point. Hülkenberg's still behind Albon. But you can see we've got a load of people below us that are still yet to set a time. And we are in to Q2 as things stand. Now, I'm thinking that if I can use Hülkenberg to block all of these people from setting a better lap time, then we could be in for a Q2 shout if we do something really, really cheeky. So let's go through then. Get these guys back in the pits. We're going to send Vettel out with everybody else. And we're going to wait until they come around. And then we're going to set Hülkenberg out to get in the way. So let's do another set of soft tyres for... I'm going to save the softs with Hülkenberg, because there's no point using up another set. Let's send out Seb Vettel. Let's wait for them to sort of get around. So it's Norris, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Alonso and Latifi that we're looking for. Norris, Leclerc is at the front. Tsunoda, Alonso. Right, we're going to wait here. We're going to... But we need to get Hülkenberg out. We're not worried about Mick. Mick's already way ahead of us, so that's not going to help us at all. But we do need to send Hulk out kind of behind Vettel so that Vettel can still put in a better lap time. But I don't know how long it's going to take him to get out of the pits and get in the way. Right. They're all going to be coming around now. Let's send him out. Let's see what we can do with him. Let's see who we can get in the way of here. Here he comes. Keep an eye on Vettel. Maybe Vettel can get past without getting caught up with Hülkenberg. Probably not. No. No, we've just missed out on blocking Leclerc, though, unfortunately. We should block Sainz, but that's not going to help us out. So let's see how many people we can block here. Right, you can see straight away what a difference it makes. He's complete. That would, if he were fighting him, his lap would be completely ruined. So let's see who else we can get. So where's Norris at? He's not come across the line yet. Leclerc is gone. Tsunoda is coming. Alonso coming up next. I think we're going to block the Red Bull here as well. We're blocking the Red Bull. We need someone to hurry up and come up behind Hulkenberg here. Who else is coming up behind him? We've got Vettel coming up now. Can he stay out of the way of Vettel? He can. Come on. Yeah, well, we blocked the Mercedes there, so he will have lost time. Here we go. Is that Alonso coming up? That is Alonso coming up. Let's see if we can block him. Yeah, we blocked him. Right, let's see how much time he's going to lose here. Will it be enough to end up behind Vettel and Hulkenberg? Let's find out. So we've blocked Alonso. I'm not sure if we've managed to block the others. We've got the McLarens in the bottom 5 at the moment. Hulkenberg is on the cusp. I don't think we're going to have done enough to keep Hulkenberg in to Q2, but maybe we could have blocked off a few people for Vettel. Maybe. No. Even with the block, Alonso has gone straight up to P8, so absolutely no chance there. Vettel was still P15. Tsunoda? No, we've not done it, but we are ahead of the Williams. Latifi is still behind Hulkenberg. Albon's gone ahead, and yeah, we've ended up exactly where I thought we would. Have we beaten Albon though? We have. So Vettel and Hulkenberg ahead of Albon. Well, Vettel ahead of Albon, Hulkenberg ahead of Latifi. So it's good. We've got the better of it against Williams, so at least there's that. But unfortunately, the plan of using Hulkenberg as a blocker to everybody else, it kind of worked, but it didn't work enough to stop people setting decent lap times. So there we'll have it then. We will be going into the race, assuming there's no penalties. I didn't see that there were any in 17th and 19th, and we'll have a look at the strategy then to see what we can do. Right then, so let's have a look at Vettel first of all. So we can see starting position 17th. I think this is going to be the one. So running long on the hards, waiting for a safety car. You've got to think there's going to be a safety car around Jeddah. We know, especially with sort of the accident-prone people on the grid, that someone's got to put it in the wall. I mean, Mick Schumacher, surely, he loves putting it in the wall at Jeddah. He's got to be having a little go at putting his Haas into the wall at some point in this race. But let's see what we can do then. If we... Can we just... You know, I'm gonna go softer on the hards. I want to run them as long as I can. So we'll keep the pace target as standard, but when we get on the mediums, we'll go really, really hard and see how many people we can get at the end of the race, just to maybe gain a couple of positions or retain the position depending on how the strategy plays out. And I think we're going to have to pretty much do the same strategy with both drivers. I don't suspect they're going to be within a couple of seconds of each other, so even if they pit on the same lap, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I want to run hard on the fuel, so I'm going to have as much fuel in the car as possible. I know we could run less and keep the weight down, but I tend to find it doesn't make that much difference on this game. So I'm going to run it high, and I'm going to actually just ask them to push. I think that actually ends up a bit better from what I've found. But if you found different, if you've got a really good way of running low on fuel and conserving later on without a safety car assistance, then do let me know. The issue I've found is that I run it thinking there's going to be a safety car in the other ones I've played, and if it doesn't happen, you end up with a really kind of annoying situation having to conserve fuel, which, unless you're so much quicker than everybody else, just causes issues. With Hulkenberg, maybe we run the mediums first, but again, with both of them, I think running long, given where we are in the pecking order, is kind of the right thing to do. And maybe I'll run him a couple of laps later. I'll put it there. So he's coming in on lap... Where are we? So lap 32, and then we've got Seb Vettel coming in on lap 31. So that works. So we'll separate them in terms of laps just in case. And let's get straight into it.
There's a very overcast night in store for the drivers who are now lined up on the grid. And there's Sebastian Vettel. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. There's the second Aston Martin. They'll be starting the race.
I
from
do
the
think they
bottom
need
half
to
of the
do
grid,
something about
so
the
there's
fact that a
fair
lot
bit
of the drivers
ground
on
to
here,
make up.
they don't have their
Oh,
likeness.
hard
Because,
work
you know, if you think
paid
about
off
other sports
today.
games, you know, something like FIFA, they would just make it up. And I genuinely would rather have
It's almost time
kind of a
for
fake
the
face than
Saudi
have no
Arabian
face
Grand
at all,
Prix.
just like for the podiums and things like that. But hopefully they'll figure that out later games.
And
Maybe
it's
they can do the
lights out,
likenesses for the
and
F2 and
away
F3
we
drivers
go.
as well. But here we go then. Let's ride on board with Sebastian Vettel. Not what I meant to do. Here we go. Let's see how things play out. So we are still ahead of the Williams. So we do see Latifi getting ahead of Hulkenberg at the back there. We're going to push ahead now on the tyres, on the fuel. I should have done that to start with. But we do still have... We're running exactly as we were at the moment. But is Hulkenberg going to miss out here? No, we've covered him off. So we're still ahead of Latifi with Hulkenberg. So that's absolutely fine. I'll move that down to aggressive. I don't want to take too much life out of the tyres at the beginning. We definitely want to run these long. And we should now settle into the pace of the race. Now, the key thing here in Jeddah is going to be hanging on to the back of the cars in front. Because we cannot afford to fall out of the DRS zone. So we've got 3 laps here where we need to stay within a second here of Tsunoda and let them drag us along in this race so that when they pit, we are well ahead of them because we're running longer on the hard tyres. I imagine everyone in front of us is running soft or mediums. We've got Magnussen on the hard, so probably running the same strategy as us. But most people, there are a few on hards, but most people are running softer tyres. So they are the people we're aiming at. It may be asking a lot given our situation in this race. I mean, look here, we're already Albon falling out from behind Vettel. So 7.5 tenths, and without DRS, Hulkenberg could easily get lost here, just sat at the back with the Williams. So we might have to go deploy some DRS and ERS and see if we can get past Albon here before we lose the back of our teammate Sebastian Vettel. So let's see what Hulkenberg can do here with full deploy on the ERS. Can we make the move? Moving to the inside towards turn 1. Come on, Hulkenberg. Make the move. Come on. Dive to the inside. Come on, and then better exit around the outside of turn 2. With the deploy, we should be able to get it done unless Albon cuts us off, which he doesn't, and we get that move done. We'll leave the deploy so we can get up to the back of Vettel, and then we'll drop that ERS back down once we're comfortably in the DRS zone. But that's good. We're ahead of both the Williams cars with both of the Aston Martins now, which is exactly the situation we wanted to be in. And we only need now to get to the end of this lap for DRS to be enabled, and then we can start seeing if there's any more moves to make before the strategy plays out in the pit stops. But let's just stay with Hulkenberg for a second. We'll just fast forward it 2 times just to see how close we can get there. We're going to I don't want to use all the ERS. It's taken longer than I thought, but we'll run it in neutral now in terms of the ERS status. Again, we need to come down on the tyre usage now as well. So DRS has been enabled. We're still in a good position in terms of fuel with Hulkenberg. Again, I'm just worried about losing the back of Vettel. Vettel's still in a decent spot though. We haven't got the DRS on this first straight. We do have to wait for the second detection zone, which is later on down here, I believe, around Jeddah. So we'll fast forward to that stage, make sure that we're still in the DRS zone. It should be coming up in a second here. No, we haven't got it there. So the only other detection zone then will be down here, the long straight. Around here, this will be the detection zone then. So let's keep going. We just need to stay within that second of Tsunoda, but we are falling back here. It's not ideal. We should have... There we go. So we've got the DRS open, but we are now outside of that second, which is really frustrating. Are we gonna? Oh, we do still have it open on the main straight though, so hopefully we can get back in. But the thing is, we could come in early, pit early on the mediums, but not run them so hard. So we could do that. So I could just run aggressive just to keep us in the race. Because if we fall out of that 1 second, we're going to really struggle for the rest of the Grand Prix. So I'll run it on aggressive on the tyres. We need to come off on the fuel though. Hulkenberg's still struggling to stay within a second of Vettel. So He has got a 3.5-second benefit to Albon and Latifi though, so he should be able to see out. So I think we're better off now running our planned strategy with Hulkenberg, and maybe coming a little bit earlier with Vettel. See what we can do to stay in this DRS zone of Tsunoda in front. But essentially, you can see the pace difference from the Aston Martin to the rest of the field. There's so much good. We have had a crash though, which is going to help us out. Hulkenberg will be able to follow up. Are we going to have a safety car? And who was it who's gone off? It looks like Verstappen is the one who's had the incident. I didn't see him actually on track, but let's check out then and see what's happened with Verstappen. He's spun off and gone into the wall, so he's broken the front wing. He's obviously going to have to sit on the side of the track to see if he can rejoin. And he has. So he has rejoined. You can see the damage to the front wing, so he's going to have to pit. So that could pretty much be the end of Verstappen's race. Obviously, if there's a safety car later on, he can still make something of the day, and he's obviously going to have massive pace in that Red Bull. So you suspect he's going to be making some overtakes, but it's going to be a little while before he's going to be pitting and getting that new front wing on. So that could still be a really, really difficult race now for Verstappen, despite the fact we've, of course, got the majority of this race to go. If we go back on board, we are with Vettel. We are still within that 1 second of Tsunoda with the DRS open. So I think we're just going to have to fast forward now, and you can see we are just about hanging on with that 1 second. We only want it to last as long as possible, but we've dropped out of it now. So let's just go to standard, go back to the plan as it was. Hulkenberg with a really good gap to Albon and Latifi. So we're just going to have to, at the moment, ride out our position as the team that's better than Williams. But you can see the pace difference between the Aston Martins and the rest of the field is huge. And that's why we desperately need a couple of upgrades, especially that straight line speed would be helping us out massively here as we lose the back of Tsunoda. But if we do get what we want, which is essentially a safety car in this race, you see we've gained a couple of positions there as other people come into the pits. Hopefully some people in this race are going for... We had another crash on the track, but hopefully some people in this race are going for two-stop strategy, because that would really, really help us out. Let's find out who's crashed on this occasion, though. It's Alonso this time, but he's still going, so I don't think this is going to be as big an incident as the one that we saw Verstappen have. But we'll find out. Oh, almost it's exactly the same incident. It does look like less damage to the front of that Alpine than we saw to the Red Bull Verstappen, but still pretty much a carbon copy incident there for Alonso as to what happened to Verstappen earlier. But Alonso has managed to come out back on track quicker. You can see Verstappen way down the order, but I'm assuming Alonso still to come into the pit. You can see the damage to the end plate there on the front wing, so he'll be pulling off to the left hand side and into the pit, I would imagine. Here he comes, so that's going to help us out as well, because he's definitely going to come out behind us. As you can see, we're not that far behind Alonso as he comes into the pit. So could we be on to beat the Alpine of Alonso today? Let's fast forward and let's find out. Not too much else we can do in terms of strategy. You can see Hulkenberg's running loads of extra fuel. He's clearly really good on the fuel side in terms of his stats compared to Vettel in terms of at least what's going on this race. It's saying that we've Hulkenberg's overtaken Norris, but I'm pretty sure Norris came into the pit, so I don't... Although, actually, I think he's just maybe keeping up with the DRS. If we have a look now... Yes, we've had Ricciardo overtake Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg now massively holding up Verstappen, who of course is going to be absolutely wrapping with fresh tyres, replace that front wing. Unless he's got any other damage to that car, I suspect he's going to be absolutely flying. So Hulkenberg doing a great job of holding him up. And we're going to have to be keeping an eye out now for Ricciardo flying up behind Sebastian Vettel. As we have a look, you can see it's just this distance now between Vettel and Ricciardo. Only, well, just under 4 seconds. So going to be difficult for Vettel to hold on to that, but we of course playing the long game here. See, we've used up the excess fuel of Hulkenberg. Latifi in the pits, he's going to be way back now. Albon's already pitted. We've got Bottas in the pits. He's come out in front of us now. So we hopefully we'll see more people in front of us pit. But you see Hulkenberg slowly falling down the order. Alonso now catching Hulkenberg as well. So I suspect he will catch him before long. And he'll be back in his position as just better than the Williams. But we do still have a few cars behind Vettel. Can we beat anyone other than the Williams today? That is the question. Verstappen's already moved past after his incident. Alonso's about to move past us despite his crash earlier on. Again, just demonstrating the pace difference in the teams at the moment. I'm going to save any excess fuel that we've got, because I want to run that when we get onto the faster tyres at the end of the race. Save it just in case we get those safety cars where we can go for a really big push after the incident. Stay heavy on the fuel, push the tyres, push the fuel, and maybe... also, Latifi's crashes now. Is this going to be the same as what we saw from the other cars? You see Albon behind Latifi here. And he's just completely lost it. Different corner this time, but similar motion with the sort of course, we know what the corners are like in Jeddah. He's lost it on the back end, spun it around and gone into the wall. So now he's going to be coming in for another pit stop. And that should, assuming that neither Vettel or Hülkenberg have any incidents, guarantee that we finish ahead of Latifi in this race. It's Albon then that's going to be our competition, probably for Hülkenberg. I do think Vettel's got the pace over Albon at this stage as we see Latifi come into the pits. So he's going to be way down the order. We are still, as things stand though, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo at this stage of the race with Sebastian Vettel, which is good. And if we have a look at the pit stops here, we can see Ricciardo has pitted though, so we do again need a safety car really if we're going to make anything happen in this race and beat anyone other than the Williams ahead of us. We should have other people though that haven't pitted yet, and who else hasn't pit? So we've obviously our drivers haven't pit. We've got Kevin Magnussen hasn't pitted, so the other drivers we saw on the hard tyres, Gasly, Russell, they're way too far out in front of us as things stand. So we'll run this along and we will pit on the lap that we were playing. You can see actually we can probably go and attack this now just for the final lap, make up some time, because the degradation on the tyres is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. So we'll push hard on the tyres for the final lap, make the most of the remaining grip we've got, and we'll do the same with Hülkenberg. We'll run aggressive for the last 2 laps of his stint.
Push more. Copy.
Just see what time we can make up. Any tenths gained in this race may come to help us at the end. So let's see what we can do. So we suspect Vettel will come out behind Hülkenberg, but then of course those will reverse following the pit stops at the end of these 2 laps. So as we see Hülkenberg come around now. Yeah, Hülkenberg in the pit. So he's now behind Vettel as we just sort out our plan here. We're going to go full attack as we planned originally. Let's just go after it, and we'll just save the fuel just in case we do get that safety car down the road. Or maybe we should, actually, you know what? We're not going to catch anyone, I don't think, at this stage. And we're way out in front of the Williams. So I think the best thing is conserve the tyres and wait our time. If we get the safety car, then we can go heavy on the tyres, use the grip that we've got, and maybe, just maybe make some overtakes in this race. But we simply don't have the pace. Oh, we've missed out on getting Ricciardo by a couple of seconds there with Vettel. We just didn't have the pace. Let's see what other... We've got a few races going on though. So here between Ocon and Zhou Guanyu up in 7th. We're going to see Ocon make a move then on the inside of Zhou Guanyu. Can he do it then before the main straight? Is he going to squeeze down the inside? He is. Is he going to get the move done? Down the main straight though, he should have DRS. We see that Zhou Guanyu has managed to move away then from Esteban Ocon. Is he going to get the move done as turn 1 though? With DRS open, easy does it there for the Alpine. Though you have to think, unless he can break the toe, that Alfa Romeo is going to be coming back at him by the end of the race. If we go through the order though, we've got the Ferraris 1 and 2, Leclerc leading the way from Sainz, Perez in a really good position for Red Bull in 3rd, but way back behind them. Clear pace difference from the front of the field and the Ferraris and the Red Bulls to the midfield, because Hamilton 30 seconds behind and Russell a further 8 seconds behind him in 4th and 5th. Bottas, the Alfa Romeo, is looking to be really good. Clearly the Ferrari engine in this game is really strong in this first season. Ocon, as we saw, overtaking Zhou Guanyu for that 7th place. So Zhou in 8th. Gasly in 9th, and Tsunoda in 10th. So the AlphaTauri is looking decent midfield outfit as well. The McLaren's looking really poor. Probably down there with the... Yes, you look, the McLaren versus Haas right at the back of the midfield fight. And then, of course, ourselves and Williams at the back of the grid. Although we do seem to have a decent advantage over Williams on race pace, despite being really close in qualifying. So at least we do have that. As we fast forward on then, I'll keep a close eye on the fights. It looks like Shogun Yu and Esteban Ocon are the closest in terms of any fights going on at the moment throughout the field. Really still hoping. We see Alonso's coming to the pits. Have we got any hope of... I don't think we do. I think if you can see Alonso coming out of the pit just here. And we've got Vettel still just at the beginning of the main straight. So nowhere near close enough for us to come in and get a move done. Although we have been lapped now, so we should... Is that Perez? Yeah, it is. It's Perez. So the Ferraris and Perez have moved past us. They shouldn't be looking to pit again. So we should then be able to push on the fuel as well. Is there anything to gain from it? Do we want to save the components? I just don't think even if we push, we're going to have the pace. We need to save it and just hope that we get that safety car down the road. But to be fair, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve today. We've beat the Williams. We've got a massive, massive gap to Albon and Latifi behind. And I'm half tempted to bring in Sebastian Vettel for a qualifying lap at the end of this race. Now, it'll have to be Hulkenberg, wouldn't it? Because Vettel would lose his position to Hulkenberg. So I think I could bring in Hulkenberg, put some soft tyres on, and just see if we could go and get a fastest lap of the race in this Grand Prix. That, you know what, let's just do it. We've got nothing to lose. Soft tyres. Let's bring him in and we'll just go absolutely... We'll go aggressive on the tyre strategy, aggressive on the fuel, and just see if we can steal a fastest lap in this Grand Prix. Let's give it a go. So we're going to bring in Hulkenberg at the end of this lap. We can see him coming through here. Into the pits he comes. Soft tyres go on. He should come out well in front of Albon. We've got Albon just here, like way, way far behind of where Nico Hulkenberg is. And we're going to go heavy, heavy on to push on the softs. And heavy on the... We're going to push in terms of the fuel as well. Push on the fuel. Attack on the softs. And then we should hopefully be able to challenge for the fastest lap in this race. Let's see where he is at the moment. He's following one of the Mercedes. So if we can keep up with the Mercedes, get into the DRS of the Mercedes as well, actually, we could have a really good shout then of the fastest lap in this Grand Prix, which I know we're not going to get a point for. I know we're not in the top 10, so it won't count for anything for us. But it'd just be, you know, a bit of pride to come away from the weekend with the fastest lap. Will we get DRS? We should do off the back of this Mercedes. And that should give us just a chance of running sort of a qualifying-esque lap in this race. So here we go then. We should get
3 more laps.
Down the next straight. The DRS. Come on. Open it up. Should be Russell in front of us. So we're even going for the overtake here. And then we'll get DRS down the main straight. Or at least we're going to get a slipstream. The DRS should go open. It doesn't actually matter. No, we're not getting the DRS, which we should do. He's pulled out the move, obviously, with the blue flag. I don't know why we're not getting DRS. Because even in real life, if you're within 1 second of the car in front, regardless if it's a car that's lapped you, you do get the DRS advantage. So I'm not sure why that hasn't happened in the game. But either way, maybe I'm missing something. But we didn't quite get the fastest lap then. So the best, we got a 1:33.717. Obviously, clearly caught up by the Mercedes in front. Let's see what the fastest lap so far is. The last lap, 1:32.7 on the last lap by Carlos Sainz. So I think Carlos has just gone and set the fastest lap as well on a 1:31.9. Fastest lap. Yeah, 1:31.9 looks to be history, signs. Yeah, 1:31.9 is the fastest time so far in this race. and we only set
So this is last lap.
a 1:33.7, so still nowhere near the fastest lap in this race. I thought we had a chance, given that they'd be on sort of obviously lower on fuel. We were way lower on fuel and on much fresher tyres. I thought we'd have an opportunity, but clearly, see, look, DRS is ticked here. DRS is ticked, and the flap is shut on the picture. I've seen this before. It's telling me that the DRS is open, but actually it isn't. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand why the animation's breaking. I've got a separate career mode that I'm doing just you know, on my own, which with McLaren, and I had this exact same incident where the DRS is ticked to say it's open, but you don't get the animation on the screen. Definitely a bug there. Definitely something that needs to be fixed in the game. I did think something was wrong, but you saw it there. There was a tick on the box for DRS, which means the DRS is activated. So concerning them why it's not working, as we see Sainz come across the line, Leclerc following second place, Perez should be coming across the line shortly in third. Have we got anyone, any close fight? We do. We've still got Esteban Ocon and Zhou Guanyu fighting over 8th place in this race on the final lap of the Grand Prix. So let's ride on board with Esteban Ocon, see if he can get the move done and get back up to 8th place in this race. Gain a position back on Zhou Guanyu. Can he get the move done then? Both on the hard tyres, probably similar age. They've almost definitely pitted around the same stage of this Grand Prix. So they're going to be pretty similar performance at this stage. We're going to have one more DRS zone to go in this. Actually, two more. They'll get it down the main straight as well, but that's probably not long enough. If we see Ocon then looking to go down the inside, can he get the move done? He's going to get blocked by the car in front. What car have we got? We've got an AlphaTauri absolutely blocking the way. We've got Gasly in 7th place. I don't think either of them are close enough to get Gasly, and it looks like that sort of hard on the brakes has cost Ocon a move. Gasly just getting in the way of any overtaking as they come across the line. Gasly 7th, Zhou Guanyu in 8th, Ocon in 9th. Verstappen coming across the line then after his early incident in this race for the final point scoring position in 10th. Tsunoda will bring home in 11th. And as we can see, we have comfortably beaten the Williams drivers of Alex Albon and Latifi. So we definitely need to be looking ahead. We were only 9 seconds off Danny Rick, which over the course of a race it's still massive, but in the world of Formula 1. But in terms of the game, I think with a couple of upgrades, we can make some significant gains on that level of time gap. But there we go then. We'll see. We're in 17th and 18th then, as expected in the Drivers' Championship. No points, of course, on the board, but we are ahead of the Williams drivers. And again, that matches in terms of the constructors. Now, what we need to be doing is upgrading the car so that before McLaren and Haas start scoring points, we start to be in a position to do so as well. And we could finish in a lofty 7th place. Obviously, the aim for this season is actually 8th in the Constructors' Championship, so we need one of these teams to struggle. But there we have it then. The second race of the season is done. We've beaten Williams again. We've achieving our objectives so far. We've got those designs going on in the background to give us that better top end speed and hopefully deliver some performance that takes us closer to Haas and McLaren in front. We clearly have the race pace advantage over the Williams behind us, so they're not really that much of a threat in terms of the qualifying trim. It's really close, but race trim we seem to have a big advantage over them, which is good to see. So certainly we'll be aiming at Haas and McLaren over the next couple of episodes. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know what you think I should be doing with this car to help me get to the McLaren and Haas in front. Should I be investing in the infrastructure of the team, upgrading the facilities? Should I be looking to make any staff changes, driver changes? What do you want to see happen in this team? What should I be focusing the development on? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to take those comments on board as I make investment over the next few episodes. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are new around here, please make sure to subscribe on the bottom right hand side and make sure you turn those notifications on to be notified of future uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.